Lou and I go over all the time, and you know, even with whatever challenges may occur, he loves her so much, and he gets so excited to see her. And I feel so grateful that Luetta knows him and has time.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Much different than the character that you play in the movie.
I know, she's having a hard time for most of the movie.
Talk me through that, because your character is pregnant in the film, and this comes up against all of these struggles. Where did you pull the inspiration from?
I mean, man, I'm so glad that I actually had a pregnancy when I did this film, because I can't even imagine dealing with some of the things that Catherine has to go through. And yet I also understand that once you become a mother, there's this, even before you have your kid, there's this ferocity that you don't even know where it's come from, but you're like a wolf in the back, and that feels like someone's about to go get it, so you are ready to go. So I understand that drive, and I feel like, you know, if anybody came after anyone in my family, I feel like I would definitely be spicy like that.
You know what that's called? Mama bear.
Yeah.
That's definitely
straight up.
That's mama bear.
Yeah.
You had a lot of action in this. Shooting, horse riding. How was the process to get into that? Managing a gun, getting on the horse and managing a gun. You know,
I was definitely a little nervous, because I have really high standards for myself, right? Just that I set internally. And I'm always that person watching the film where if I see someone who looks a little clunky or looks like they don't know what they're doing, it drives me crazy, and I never want to be that person. And so I was very grateful, because I got to work with our stunt coordinator, Dale Gibson, and did a lot of, not as much as I would have loved, but we did like a couple weeks of training on the horse. And I had an incredible horse in the movie. And then our armorer, Brett Culpepper, like really showed me, because they were real guns. Some of them weren't even replicas. So, and they were heavy. So we're toting these things around. I'm trying to figure out how to, you know, load it and also make sure everybody's safe. So it was a lot to manage, but also I love a challenge.
Period guns?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Like some really from the Civil War, that if you just changed out, you know, the fake bullet for the real one, you could really shoot. So there's a lot that you're kind of trying to process. But I think the dynamic, not only with my co-stars, who I love so much, but everyone on set was collectively really working to just come together and make it great. So it felt really lovely to just show up. And our wardrobe designer, she had so much of this, like so many of the costumes herself. I actually bought one of my costumes because I loved it so much. I came home with a lot of accoutrement from the show.
Good job.
Yeah.
Nicely done. I love the fact that your love affair with Moose.
Oh, I love Moose.
Do you get to see?
I do. I don't get to see him as often as I'd like, but I just, you know, I got to set and they were going to put me on this other horse, and I had ridden Moose one day to try it out, and I begged them. I was like, look, I really need this to be my horse in the movie. I love him. I feel really comfortable. And after the first couple weeks, I kept talking to the wranglers, and I was like, guys, can we talk to them? I think I need to bring Moose home with me. Like, I can't imagine him, you know, like I can't imagine not having a relationship with this horse. And so I bought him, and he lives with my co-star right now, James, while I'm trying to figure out where I'm landing. But yeah.
That's brilliant.
I love it.
Great.
Yeah.
We were talking about parenthood and motherhood as we were talking about pregnant in this film. How's Lou doing?
She's amazing. She's a rock star. She's like, she just turned 2, and everything right now is, you know, I feel like 2s get a bad rap. I feel like everybody is calling it the terrible 2s, and I'm actually so delighted by her exploration of emotion and the limits of that. And I think as a society, I hope that we can do more, because I think that there's so much as women that is like, don't be angry, don't be difficult, don't take up too much space. And I want to challenge that because I want her to take up space. I want her to feel like she can walk up into a room and just come in. And I don't want to turn her into a people pleaser or, you know, have her shrink behind her anger, you know, because I don't think that really that's of service. So if she gets frustrated, I'm like, yeah, it's okay to be angry. That's all right. And I don't know, I'm loving everything that she's kind of, it's wild to watch a human being explore the world and themselves for the first time.
She takes after her mom because her mom commands the room. I gotta ask you about a full circle moment.
Yeah.
We talked about Lou. I mentioned your mom. And then I look on your socials, and there's this fantastic picture of you holding Lou in your mom's bikini from Striptease, which is one of your first movies with her. I mean, where did that come from? And how did, you know, you get the bathing suit, and then you say, you know, I'm going to put it on. It's the same age that you got the movie.
I know, right? You know, it wasn't the exact one, but I found one that looked like it, and I thought, man, how cool. This would be so kind of funny and silly, and was doing, you know, a photo shoot for stuff on my website, and I just thought, you know, this might be a fun thing to do.
Golly. And she was great in the photo.
Oh, she's the best.
She was great in the photo.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
We did touch base on your mom because I said you were a combination. If you're not Julia Roberts, you definitely been in this No joke. Tell me why this young lady is so deserving of not only this cover, but an entire year where she got her flowers.
You know, it was so, I have so much pride as a daughter, but then also on another level as an actor and as a, you know, a peer, because I've sat there, I've been on the sets, I've watched my mom and in all of these films, like from years and years and years ago, and I feel like she works so hard, and I know other people do too, but I feel like she's worked so hard in her career and has overcome so much criticism. And that's what happens when you're a leader. It's what happens when you are the first one to do so many things. You know, she was the first one to really show a naked pregnant belly publicly. She was the first one to kind of challenge masculinity and femininity when she was doing G.I. Jane. Was the first one to do something like Striptease. And you see so many movies now, like Zola, Hustlers, right? There's all of these new films. And I think that people, and I think she said this in her Globe speech, but I think, you know, she's been underestimated and kind of, I don't know, almost like put away in a box. And it was so beautiful to kind of see this homecoming for her and to watch her receive this validation. And I'm just beaming with pride for her.
As you should, because you see it from the inside. And
that's
the inside looking out.
Exactly.
Coming out. How are things going? Because I looked at on your social with for Dad's birthday, the dance party.
Yeah.
How's Dad?
He's wonderful. You know, one of my favorite things is when I get to, Lou and I go over all the time, and you know, even with whatever challenges may occur, he loves her so much, and he gets so excited to see her. And I feel so grateful that Luetta knows him and has time. And you know, it's interesting because doing a movie like this, I remember being a kid when I was Luetta's age, or even a little bit older, and being on the set of some of his films, and even, you know, a Western. And I feel like I get to carry on a bit of that kind of Willis, badass, you know, kind of action star legacy, and hopefully there will be more of it.
Is there a film that you'd like to turn into yours, one of their films that you would like to redo? If you could.
I mean, Fifth Element is one of my absolute favorites. You know, I just watched the other day and my mom would probably not think this is her favorite, but I love The Butcher's Wife. I love that movie. It's so funny and weird, and probably most people might not know it, but it's so sweet. But I don't know. I think I would love I don't know if they would ever do it, but I would love to bring back Die Hard in some kind of way and maybe be Lucy McLean and kind of, you know, rejig the whole franchise that way. But I also don't want to like jump the shark and kill something that's beautiful. So, you know, it has to be done right.
Well, you mentioned the Western. Has Lou seen you in the trailers or anything like that?
Yeah, she watches it, and it's funny because she gets really excited and she goes, "Oh, there's mommy. There's mommy." And then I try and cover her eyes just for the obviously really aggressive parts. She goes, little scary, little scary. I'm like, okay, you're right.
You're raising it right.
I'm trying,
right,
you know.
You're doing it right. You said you were on the set with your parent, dad, mom and dad. When did you know that they were famous?
I don't know if it's necessarily a particular time that you just have this awareness, but I think, you know, when you're a little kid and you're out and then, you know, you could be at Disneyland or even literally at the grocery store and people come up to you. Obviously, it's a very different time now because we didn't have social media and paparazzi weren't as aggressive. But I don't know if I ever quite clocked it like that, but I think it was more, I think I felt bad for them. You know what I mean? I think my sisters and I kind of would either get frustrated or feel bad that it affected them so much, right? That we would be out, say, trying to do something, and then, you know, it just became too much, right? And so that part was strange, but again, to me, you know, and growing up mostly in Idaho or just being on set with them, it's just like your parents, right? It's not, you don't really necessarily know that. But I will say, you know, especially given what all of the kind of kooky things that my family has gone through over the years, what I think has been the most beautiful in that context is the outpouring of love that I have seen for my dad and for my mom even recently, on obviously two different sides of the spectrum. It's so beautiful. You know, it was so wonderful to see when we shared about what was going on with my dad, how people stop me on the street and they're like, I just want you to know I love your dad. Like, he's had such an impact. Or, you know, as this stuff has gone on with my mom last year, people said, I love your mom. She's so deserving of this. And so that part of it is lovely because I feel like they are of a different generation and time where, I don't know, people just, they fell in love with them from a very young age. And it's just like, they're movie stars. It's a different, you know, it's different than, I don't think they make them anymore.
Last question for you. Father's Day plans. What's on the docket? What do you hope will happen?
I would love to just spend the day with my dad and maybe make him some corn cakes. That is his favorite recipe for us. So, and I'm teaching Lou kind of how to cook a little bit right now. So I just want to spend the day with him.
What's the go-to? Is it?
Oh yeah, Jiffy corn cakes.
Jiffy corn cakes. I love it. I hope you guys have a dance party.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On Father's Day, and I thank you for just spending the time and being so candid and real.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right.